Hi, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome to Vocal Code Conversations. I am here with the amazing Ramona Smith. I am so delighted to be finally speaking to this lady. Um, I'm absolutely honored to have you. Before we get into the amazingness about my guest today, I wanted to introduce myself as Charlene, the Vocal Alchemist. I help recording artists to get standing ovations when they sing, and I also help public speakers to sound like leaders full of authority and confidence and magnetism on the podium and off of the podium. And today I have the amazing Ramona Smith in the building. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be here. I appreciate it. I really do.
So Ramona is an amazing speaker. She is the Toastmaster 2018 World Champion, and she's also an author. You've written a book of poems as well, is that right?
I need to write a book of poetry, but I wrote a self-help book for women called Shine, Sister Shine. And most recently, I published my World Champions Guide to Public Speaking, 10 Tips to Master the Art of Public Speaking.
Yes, I saw that. But I also saw something about your poetry.
Yes, I am a poet. I don't, and you know what? I'm wrong for neglecting my gift. I need to get back into that. But when I was in my early 20s, I was heavy on the poetry scene, especially like live spoken word performing it. So that's definitely one of my passions that I have neglected, but I need to get back into it. So yes, I am a poet.
Awesome, awesome. So today's conversation, I really want to, oh, I'm so passionate about the voice.
Mhm.
I'm obsessed. If you're listening to this on Spotify, if you are watching this on YouTube, I am obsessed with the singing voice, the speaking voice. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, I'm a vocal code reader, which means that I can assess the energetic structure of your voice, which tells me your belief systems, your characteristics, and I can tell you where your voice is being sourced from energetically, which means that you are either building and supporting the vision that you have for yourself, or you're sabotaging it. And I can tell which is which. And so when I listen to you twice. I listen to the content, and then I listen to the energy. So I'm going to be listening to you twice today, if that's okay.
I love
And,
it.
and, if, and if that's okay with you, I'd also love to read your vocal code on the air, if that's okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. So before we get into what it takes to be a champion, what it takes to win a competition like that, I really want to understand your personal relationship with your speaking voice. And I want to understand, how do you find people respond to you when you speak?
Well, excuse me if my internet connection is a bit unstable, but I love this. This feels so good right now. I'm just elated right now. I love this, and I've never talked about this, and I've never explored my voice in this way. I've taken singing lessons, but I've never really gave my voice the attention that it deserves, because this is a part of my being. This is a part of my well-being. This is a part of my financial well-being. This is how I express myself. This is how I make a living. And I'm going to apologize to my voice for not recognizing it, and for not being as grateful and appreciative as I should be, because if I lost my voice, I would lose everything.
Mm.
Now that that's out the way, when I was very young, I used to have a baby voice. I used to have a baby voice like this. And
Wow.
I used to talk like this, and it used to be really high and really soft. And everybody used to tell me I had this baby voice. I used to get that so much.
Mm.
And I forget what the turning point was. I think it was when I moved to Los Angeles, and I went out there on a whim. I didn't have any plans. I didn't have any structure. I just was like, yes, I'm just gonna do it. And I talked to my father one day. He passed away a couple of years ago, but I spoke to him on the phone, and he said, your voice is changing. I can hear the maturity in your voice. And
Mm.
that just stood out to me. And I did suffer from like low self-esteem, and I didn't have any self-awareness or self-confidence when I was younger. And that is probably where that energy was coming from, with the baby voice and the soft spoken, because now I'm pretty loud.
Yes, I understand. So what was the transition? Because something has happened, something has helped you to shift. What was that?
Trusting myself, believing in myself. When I went to LA, I didn't have anybody or anything, and I had to rely on myself and get to know who I am and get to know my strengths and get to know my weaknesses, and just completely rely on everything that was within me that I didn't know was there. And once I started to trust myself, I started to realize that I can really do anything that I wanted to do. If I can move to LA on my own and survive and make it and not be homeless and hungry and on drugs and abusing myself and others, then there must be something special that I'm here to do, and there must be something special that I'm capable of. And that's when I birthed my first book, when I was in LA. That
Mm.
was the transition. And then the transformation happened once I became a mother. Once I knew that I was going to be somebody's mother, I was
Mm.
unstoppable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I understand that because there's a reason why, and the reason why is powerful and it drives you forward. I totally get that. So, talk me through becoming a champion in 2018 of the Toastmasters competition. Why you? Why do you think that you won it?
I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna rush this, because this is good. This is really good. So why me? For many years, I had been visualizing, I had been hoping to manifest, I had been making these, you can say, spiritual deposits. I had been speaking and writing what I wanted to happen for a long time. However, I wasn't in alignment with it, and there was a lot of resistance to my purpose and my calling, because it's like, I know I'm supposed to be this speaker, I know I am, but nope, I'm going to go to college, and nope, I'm going to get a job, and nope, resistance. And so
Mhm.
when I was running from it, it was already there, but I was running away from it. And then in 2015, when I finally started to dive into the speaking, when I first competed, my mentality was all wrong. I went in with this arrogant mindset, and I went in using my gift just for me. And of course, if you have a gift, you have to give it away. But in 2015, it was all about me. How can I win? What can I do? When can I be the world champion? Me, 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 me. Needless to say, of course, didn't happen. I did the same thing in 2016. Didn't win, didn't even make it past the first round. So in 2018, I finally got my second college degree. My son and I moved to Houston. I was in this really good place, really excited about newness and ready to walk alongside whatever plans the universe had. I wasn't stressing it, I wasn't worried about it. And I feel like that's when it came effortlessly. I wasn't thinking about winning. I wasn't thinking about being a champion. I mean, of course you compete because you want to win, but that wasn't my overall goal. My goals were to learn, grow, and have fun. So why me? Because I had prepared for many years, because I had planted these seeds, because I had these moments of clarity, and I've had these moments of confusion, which led to these moments of clarity. And I was in a good space to be able to receive it and to be able to give it back. Why me? Because I was available to travel, because I had a strong support system at that time. It was just a good timing for me where I was, and everything around me in my circle. The same way when Aaron Beverly won in 2019, it was a good time for him, because he was what, the second runner up in 2017 or something, but it just wasn't the right time. So in
Mm.
2018, a woman hadn't won in 10 years. I'm only the
Mhm.
second Black woman to win. Three women
Mhm.
had never won first, second, and third. It was just the right time, the right alignment, and I was in a space where I could do it but not say, hey, I'm the world champion of public speaking. I can say, hey, I got this title, but I have these experiences to share with people in Brazil and Sri Lanka and Montreal and Kuwait and Dubai and Oman and Qatar and Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Like, I'm not in a space of selfishness and diva. I'm in a really good place where I can do the work that I need to do.
Wow. Ooh, I don't know whether to high five you through the video or snap my fingers. Seriously, that I've just got chills all over my body. Because what I can really hear is a detachment from the outcome and being committed to being on the journey. And, you know, you mentioned having fun. And there's something so potent. And if you are listening to this and you are watching this, you need to catch this fire, catch it, put it on your body and let it sink in, because I can really relate to the things that you are saying in regards to business. And there is so much to be said about being able to detach from an outcome that you think is going to give you an egoic goal. So you ended up with the title, which could have been used to boost your ego, but instead you've got this title, but yeah, there's so much underneath all of that, so much substance that was learned and cultivated as a result of being present on the journey. I'm just in love with all of that. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
What I would like to know is, because a lot of public speakers come to me and the number one thing that people are desiring is confidence. I mean, I'm listening to your voice and I'm listening to your vocal code. There's so much strength and structure in your voice. You've got the code and the tones of authority in bucket loads in your vocal. And what would you say to people who desire to cultivate confidence within themselves and also for that to be heard whenever they speak?
One thing that I learned is preparation. Preparation leads to so much confidence. And even if you don't have the loudest voice or the strongest voice, or you don't have the vernacular of a PhD, if you know what you're talking about and you came prepared and you know your audience and you really understand the value of what you're giving and you know that they're going to receive that value, I feel like that's where the confidence comes from. If you get up there and you talk about something that you know a lot about or that you're very passionate about, I feel like that's where the confidence is going to come in. Because even the most boring speakers who are talking about things that are not popular, for example, forgive me, all you beautiful STEM people and scientists, but somebody talking about molecular structure of chemistry or something like that, that's not the most popular thing in the world. But when you get up there and you know all those formulas and you know the quotes and you know all the people that it came from and you know that you've done the research and you know that you've written the book and you have the credibility, I feel like that's where the confidence comes from: your credibility, your passion, and your preparation.
Mm-hmm. That's such a succinct answer, and thank you for that. Because one other thing that I'm picking up in your voice, I really can hear that you get things done quickly.
I'm
When
impulsive.
you, yeah, when you make a decision, you're like, let's go, okay? And for those on Spotify, she is nodding in the affirmative. So
Yes.
just in case you
Yes.
can't see that, but what I want to know, because the other thing about your voice, there's this thing, and forgive me if I'm not able to always articulate what I see, because when I hear people's voices, I can see shapes, I can see symbols, and it's like your voice kind of flies above like this. I'm kind of making like I don't know, a flying, I'm doing a
I
flying
see it.
symbol with
I
my
see
hand. Yeah.
it.
And what that shows me is that you don't get stuck in places that a lot of people get stuck, meaning that what will they think about me? What if they say X about me? That kind of thing, you are able to fly above because there's something very purposeful about your voice, and your voice whips up the atmosphere. It's very energetic. So as I'm listening to you, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's kind of like, it's like feeling buoyed up, you know? Um, and I'm wondering, what is it? Firstly, I just want to ask if that's accurate. And secondly, I want to know if or how you are able to, there is a focus that your energetic has, your vocal energetic has a focus where it doesn't get bogged down in the swamp of other people's insecurities or your own. That's what it is. So yeah, that's what I would love to know.
This is so good. This is just so good. This is so good. You are completely 100% accurate and correct. That comes from a solid, unshakable confirmation over and over and over again, because a lot of times we know but we act like we don't know, and we need signs, and I've gotten every single sign, every single flag, every single push towards the path of speaking.
Mm,
So there is,
mm,
at this point, at 33, I found out I wanted to be a speaker when I was 19. Forgive me, I'm not great at math, but I think that's 14 years. For the past 14 years, I've had hundreds of signs pointing me in that same direction. So at this point, you cannot tell me that this is not what I'm supposed to do with my life
mm,
forever. As long as
mm,
I'm in this body, in this physical form, as long as I can speak, as long as I can get up and get on the stage or do a Zoom, nobody can convince me that I'm not supposed to be doing this.
mhm,
So once I knew that for sure and knew that full well, and no matter how many times I tried to run from it, it came back to me, or no matter how many times I thought it was running away from me, I chased it down. And then in 2018, becoming the champion of the world effortlessly.
mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow. Whew. Yeah, it's so beautiful because you have the type of voice that motivates people. I'm listening to you and I am transfixed in my seat, listening to you. And after this call, I'm going to be like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, come on, create something. Come on and succeed. And that galvanizing effect that your voice has. So the other thing I can really hear is that your feet are firmly planted on the ground and that you are a realist and a pragmatic person. So, what gets you through moments where you desire to procrastinate? What gets you through to taking action? Because there is, on the top end of your voice, um, there's like this, it's like a piercing quality where it shows me that your voice is like an arrowhead. It's direct, it gets things done. It and like I said, you do things quickly like a bullet. So that's your nature. That is who you are. And also as humans, you know, we are spiritual beings in a physical body. There are also times, oh, you're muted, my love.
My family's completing a puzzle in the background, so.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. So as humans, the human part of us sometimes wants to sabotage and sometimes wants to delay things being done. Um, what moves you through those moments of saboteurism? New words.
Honestly, it's my son. my son,
Mm.
just the thought of him, just the thought of the life that I want to give to him. And all the qualities that you described are so spot on. And I know that some people don't follow astrology, but I'm very fond of it. And being a Capricorn woman, that strength, that pragmatic attitude that I have to achieve, I'm super ambitious, and sometimes a little stubbornness, not gonna lie about that. But just that down to earth vibe where it's like, I'm going to achieve and I'm going to be ambitious, but I'm not going to repel. I'm going to attract most people. I'm easy to approach, and just everything you said was spot on. So the thing that drives me and that pushes me through is definitely the thought of Ryan, the thought of this beautiful life that I want to build for him. And the more that I achieve, the more that I know that he can do that and more. So if my mom can be the champion of the world, maybe I can be the champion of the universe. If my mom can
Mm.
travel to all these different countries, then maybe I can travel to all those countries and more. If my mom can host these events and speak to all these people and just do all these amazing things and write these books, which he co-authored with me, the second one. But if she can do all those
Nice.
things, then so can I. And I know that the more I do, I feel like I'm just building him up. And so on
Mm-hmm.
those days where I don't feel like it, or on those days where I I can sense a little bit of self-sabotage, I look back over all the things that I've already accomplished, and I think about the things that I want him to accomplish. And just the thought of him and knowing that I have a little mini me, whether we're 2 feet apart or 2,000 miles apart, that's still a part of me. And I that's just like my what's that, my generator. Like when my
Mm-hmm.
electricity goes out, I think about Ryan and everything is back on.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally hear that. What I want to talk about next, it may throw you a little bit, actually, because it's not something that generally public speakers speak about. And I want to talk to you about pleasure, because one thing that I know for sure is that as women, we have this ability to magnetize and attract things to us where we are not having to really try that hard. And one thing I know for sure is that being a pleasured woman is something that makes the voice sound like honey. It makes the voice have this really soothing quality. It warms up your tone. I'm even dropping into it now and I'm noticing and hearing that my voice is changing. I'm slowing down a little bit. I'm being more deliberate in the things that I'm saying, and my pace has slowed just slightly. And what I have found is that in this state, people lean in to me because they want to hear what it is that I have to say. And I don't have to project my voice, I just get to be. So, what I want to know is, where in your life do you allow for pleasure?
The way I'm taking that is when I'm in a space where I'm very relaxed and something is making me happy and satisfied to the point where I may not have to say anything. I'm just in a space
Mhm.
of bliss, peace, confidence, just I feel like rare, like rare. So what's my rare?
Right.
I'll tell you what my guilty pleasure is. I love a nice glass of wine.
Me too,
Love a nice
honey.
glass of wine. When I'm reading a book or when I'm writing, when I have something alive, something fresh in front of me, a plant, some flowers, and some water, water, the beach, a bathtub, a shower, sometimes even the sound of the air conditioner.
I love that.
But it's a
I
lot,
really.
a lot of my pleasure comes from solitude.
hmm Do you find that that's because you're speaking a lot, or what do you think that's about? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same. I'm just curious.
I think that for a long time I did so much without thinking about
Yeah.
myself, without considering who I am, without thinking about what I like, without considering me. And so now that I've learned to go within, that's how I get re-energized. That's how I'm able to give positivity, because I have to replenish. And in that solitude, I'm not thinking about what anybody else thinks about me, or what anybody else wants me to do, or what anybody else thinks I should do. I'm simply loving myself,
Mm.
and it feels good.
Mm-hmm. I
And
love
that's all
that.
I got.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Has there ever been a time when you've come across a teacher or a mentor or somebody that you deeply respect that has caused you to do a 180-degree turn in what you think you should be saying in the world or how you should be saying it? Has the transmission caused you to rethink something that you were really sure about? And now you're just like, there's something here for me. And it's caused you to shift.
So what I'm hearing is, has there ever been somebody in a position, someone who I respect in a position of authority in my life, who has ever kind of redirected my speaking or my speeches?
Redirected, okay. So you're a woman and you stand for things, you have your reason why, and you know, you've got your book and things that you've created. Have you ever been in a place where a person of authority has caused you to shift what you were about to create? Because your creation is just a container for your voice. So that's what I mean.
Nothing major like that. Nothing like a whole book or a whole entire speech or anything like that. Now, there may have been some Facebook posts where I was in my feelings and I was saying a little too much, or if I was feeling, there were times when I was feeling like not cute or not beautiful, and I'll put like a racy picture on Facebook, and my mentor will call me up and say, take that down. What are you doing? Or
Right,
something
right.
like that. But I think with my creativity, that's a place where that's a sacred place. And I won't let
Mm,
anybody come between me and that. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I feel
mm.
like, now, you know what? Let me pause, because once I get a huge $1 million book deal or multi-million-dollar deal, and somebody says that you can't say that, you don't say that. Okay, that's fine. But
Right.
until then, if I feel it, I have to write it. I have to write it,
Mm,
and I cannot let anybody come between me and creation, because I feel like that's me in source, and
yeah.
and that's outside of anything or anybody else.
Mm. So my next question would be, in regards to your relationship between you and Source, treating your voice as a divine creation tool, what has your voice taught you about your own divinity?
Just the power of doing something that I that comes so naturally to me that sometimes you forget the value of it. You forget how, oh, and power is just not even a good enough word. You forget how much life is in this thing. And it's just taught me that this is hold on, I'm a little distracted. Give me a second. The voice is necessary to change the world.
Mm.
The voice is necessary to change the world, because every time I'm in front of an audience and I speak and I give these words in this air, I'm inspiring. And this is not just something that I created in my head. Every time I speak, someone or some people come up to me and they say, you are so inspirational, or you inspired me. So my voice is inspiring, which means it's in spirit, which means I have something to give. And so I feel like I need to value my voice more as a tool of divinity.
Mm. Yeah, I love considering every aspect of the human body and aspect of divinity, and the voice being something that is my favorite, because you can absolutely build and destroy with your mouth.
Yes.
And it's not that the divine doesn't destroy. If it's not working, or if it's kind of growing askew or something, it needs to come down. So it's important to know how to use that tool consciously,
Mm-hmm.
because if you're just destroying things all willy-nilly, or creating things willy-nilly, it's not, you'll just create chaos in your
Right.
life. And being divinity in a body means that you are aware of your power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the beautiful thing about life is that you are always expanding into knowing more and more and more and more. So it's just this infinity journey that we're all on, of learning how divine, how powerful, how much more love are we. And when you got to the final round of the championship, how are you feeling? How was the atmosphere of the room? I want to know everything. I want to experience this through your eyes, through your voice, and I just want to know what that felt like.
In 2015, I made it to the district level, which is the level right before you go off to the semifinals. And everything is pretty local up until you get past that district level. And in 2018, going into the district level, oh my goodness, I had so much anxiety and worry, and I was trying to balance it with just the learn, grow, and have fun. But it's like, you want this so bad, and what if it's a repeat of 2015? So what I did was, in 2017, I went to West Africa. I went to Ghana for 3 weeks, and I studied abroad. And there I learned how to pour libations, and I learned how to honor my ancestors, and I learned how to tap into that energy that has already been there and still is there. But I had never done that before. I mean, I heard songs about pouring for your pouring, a drink for your homies and things like that, but nobody really like dove into that, and nobody really elaborated on that. And so when I went to Africa, I tapped into that. In 2008, LaShonda Rundles, another Black woman, won the World Championship of Public Speaking. She was like the first woman to win in 30 years, the first Black woman to win. And I started following her journey. She passed away in 2012, mind you. I started following her journey. And I just had this strange spiritual connection with this woman that I never met ever in my life. And during the district competition in 2018, before I got on that stage, I found a tree. The venue was at some convention center in a city called Stafford here in Texas. And I was there rather early. And so I walked far, far, far away from the venue, and I found this big, beautiful tree, because every time we pour libations, it's on a tree. I'm sure it has something to do with the roots and the connection in life and things like that. But I found this tree, and I had planned on pouring libations, so I had some alcohol with me in the car, and I went to that tree and I poured libations for LaShonda, and I just asked for her spirit to help me and for her spirit to guide me. So that's the one thing that was the big difference. I was tapped in spiritually. And then when I got on that stage, I let it all go, because there were some phenomenal speakers at that district level, but I let it all go. And I said, whatever happens, happens. I have this beautiful dress. I have this beautiful hair. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to show out and have the time of my life, because I'm a damn good speaker, whether I win or not. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm just going to go out here and do it. And so I did it. And when I won, I'm telling you, it was like, oh my gosh, my sister was there, my brother-in-law, they were there. Like, it was just this huge celebration. And after that, things changed because a lot of people have been following me because there's the club level, the area level, the division level, the district, and then semifinals and then finals. So people have been following me throughout the different levels of the contest. And then when I won a district level, it was like, oh, we knew it. And then people were just coming to me trying to give me advice and this and that. And then I had to prepare to go to Chicago for the semifinals. Had never had any experience, didn't know what to expect. I go to the semifinals, and this is when Toastmasters, the organization, really gets international. When there are people from 146 different countries meeting in this one place for a common goal to become more effective leaders and communicators, it just got real. I'm like, this is really big. So we were all in these different semifinals groups. I was in group 1, and I'm looking at my group, and I'm the only woman. And I'm like, oh my God. And these are men in like nice suits and glasses, and they're like in their 50s. They all look like my grandpa. And I'm like this little, like this little skinny, like cheerful little girl, like with my little skirt coming over. So I'm like, I'm really intimidated at this point, is what I'm saying. I'm extremely intimidated, and I'm the only woman in my group because, it's a male-dominated competition. So I sit down and I'm just like, oh my gosh, oh, look at all these old professional men. They are just, oh my gosh, whatever. And so this one older gentleman, maybe the oldest guy in the group, he comes over to me and I'm like, yes, somebody's going to give me some words of encouragement. He bends down and he says, I'm going to beat the pants off you, right?
Oh, wow.
So then I didn't realize that maybe he was intimidated by my presence because I was the only woman in the group. Like, but at that moment, I was just like, dang, Grandpa, I can't get no love. Like nothing.
Yeah.
That fool didn't even place, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so the day of the semifinals, I had that same mentality. I'm gonna go up here. I made it this far. I was so grateful. I was just so grateful for the whole experience. It was just this whole attitude of gratitude. And I went up there and I prepared. So I knew I had this great speech. I knew I had perfected it. I knew that I had a good message to give. I knew that it wasn't about me. This audience needed it. And the energy from the audience is the reason why I changed my speech the same day. I had a speech prepared because you have to have another speech prepared for finals. I had a speech prepared for finals, but the energy in the room, I had to change my whole speech because it wasn't for them. They needed a new speech. They needed a new topic. And so it was just, they wanted to laugh. And at that point, I don't know which countries were dealing with social unrest or whatever it was, but they wanted humor so much. They wanted transparency, but they wanted it not so heavily, but they wanted it to balance out with the humor. And so after that round and I took that round, then it was time for the finals, and the level of excitement just quadrupled, like, because you watch all these speeches of all the other champions and you see how elegant the room is and how big. I had never been in a room with 2,000 chairs just for me before. And so I became a fan. I immediately became a fan, and it was surreal. That's the best way I can explain it. It was so surreal. And so to finally get on that same stage that you see all these other champions in, it was just like, this is my dream come true. This is my dream come true. This is where I feel the most alive. This is my comfort zone. So it's not a competition anymore. I'm just doing what I was brought here to do.
Yes, it's not a competition anymore. I'm just doing what I was brought here to do. Being on purpose is so powerful. And you've talked about all the signs that you have had that are pointing you in the direction of using your voice. Use your voice, use your voice, and use your voice. And it's so interesting to hear about the journey from having this baby voice to having such a voice that is so jam-packed, full of strength and authority. And I'm loving that you are aligned. I'm loving that you were obedient, because you could have been like Jonah, child, and just run away you know,
Yes.
from the purpose that God has set out for you. And I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you. I feel so blessed. I really do.
I do too.
And oh, what's next for you?
I feel like as this capricious woman, this Capricorn energy, I haven't even reached my what is it? My prime yet. I haven't even reached my prime yet. There's just so many things that I want to do, so many places that I want to see. I definitely want to get into television. I definitely want to write some more books. I started this online public speaking academy for kids. I want to continue to grow that. Ah man, oh, a lot.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
It's a
I
lot.
could see you on TV. I could definitely see you on TV. And you know something else that struck me? You have the perfect voice. This is not something that you've indicated that you desire to go into, but you have the perfect voice for conflict resolution
Wow, I like that.
because you have the ability. Remember, I said to you that your voice and you fly above the drama essentially. You are able, I could just see you resolving difficult conversations and mediating because you're able to shoot straight to the heart of the issue. You're able to really summarize what somebody's feeling and thinking, but doing it in a way that is really beneficial. Because can you imagine if you were so emotional that you were getting involved with your each party's thing? You know, you have this ability to be able to be present and helpful but detached at the same time, which I think is, there's something so powerful about detachment.
Hmm.
So that's what I hear in your voice as well, just this ability to really solve problems. um, so even though, you know, conflict resolution isn't something that you've indicated that you desire, I hope that you receive that.
Absolutely.
um, yeah, there is something to be said for being a powerhouse. Is that an adjective that you are often described with?
Yes, I think the lady who wrote my bio, she put that in my bio.
Right. I can see why. I definitely can see why. And what I love about you is that you don't flinch in regards to all of the positive attributes and even the things that you know you need to work on in regards to your state of being, in regards to how you view your voice. You just don't flinch. And what that means is that you are not apologetic. It just is.
Mhm.
And that is so powerful. Oh my goodness, it is so powerful because it helps you to not take things personally, and it helps you to fly above the drama. You know, those kind of being in your feelings or getting your feelings hurt and things like that. Now, for those of you who are watching and listening, I would just want to explain that I was definitely one of those sensitive beings. I was a sensitive child, a sensitive adult. And as a result, I was sensitive and I was able to pick up on other people's emotions. Um, and sometimes my stomach would be in knots, or sometimes I would go to sleep and dream about other people's problems. I would dream about why people are divorcing and wake up and find out that it's all true. And there were no boundaries between my inner world and other people's inner worlds. There was no boundaries. And what has been so important for me, and I've never shared this before actually, what has been so important for me on my journey in regards to using my voice and recognizing myself as divinity is the ability to say, okay, that's yours and this is mine. and not necessarily needing to reach into somebody else's experience to have compassion, because you can still have your own experience and have compassion for somebody else's experience.
Yes.
And the ability to stay boundaried, meaning that you stay in your own body. And let me tell you something, viewers out there, when I am fully in my body, all I feel is overwhelming love, sometimes to the point of tears. And all I can feel is softness and fire and honey, and all of this beauty is what I feel. And so I would never want to either leak that feeling or get involved with somebody else's environment so that my environment is compromised. And some people may call that selfish, and that's okay. I call it self-full, being able to be full of the love that is your birthright to experience and to feel, and being boundaried around having that be my state of being is what has changed my voice. It has changed how I am as a businesswoman. It's changed who I am as a partner. It's changed who I am as a woman. And if you're watching this and you are listening to this conversation, I would encourage all of you to make that journey and go within. A lot of people think that they think about public speaking and they think about the podium, and they think about the stage, and they think, well, what am I going to say out there? The most important step that you could take is to say, well, what am I saying in here? What is the internal voice that is happening? Because I promise you, whenever you get on the podium, you will emanate whatever it is that your inner voice is already saying. So I just wanted to say that. And I wanted to also say to you, thank you for being a really great example of being like a container that doesn't leak. You have your reason why, you have your principles, you have your embodiment, and those things are safe in a non-leaky container. And it's the reason why you're able to carry that with you wherever you go. And it's the reason why you will always be impactful, Ramona, always. So I just wanted to say thank you for being who you are. You have incredibly shifted me just in this moment here. And I'm honored to be on this call with you.
Oh, the feeling is mutual. It's totally mutual.
Mm-hmm. So where can people find you?
Instagram, Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Email me. Instagram is at Ramona J. Smith 1. Facebook is Ramona J. Smith. Email is theladybugspeaker@gmail.com. And my website is ramonajsmith.com.
Okay, I'm going to follow you on Instagram. I didn't know you were on Instagram. Awesome. So thank you so much to the amazing Ramona Smith. You are incredible.
This was awesome.
And
Oh, this was better than I didn't even know what to expect. And I'm glad I had no expectations because this fed my soul. This was like a soul Sunday.
no, I hear you totally. I don't even really plan my questions. I kind of just stay in my body and I stay connected to what you're saying. And then we'll just see where the conversation goes. So thank you for being open. I mean, you don't know me from a can of paint, and you responded to my email. So I'm really grateful.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it.
So if you would like to find me, I am Charlene, the Vocal Alchemist on Facebook, and on Instagram, I am a Vocal Alchemist on Twitter, and YouTube, the channel is called My Vocal Therapy. And that's it for today. So if you stay on the line, Miss Ramona, I'm going to end the recording. And take care out there, guys. Bye bye.